Join Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle as he delivers to us the preachings of the Sunday's Gospel that's awe-inspiring yet easy to understand and appreciate. Let us all listen to the Word of God here on The Word Exposed on Air, only on radyo-katipunan 87.9 FM. Radyo-Katipunan 87.9 FM. Rejoice, refresh, renew, and reflect. Join us for an hour of music that uplifts the soul. Listen to your favorite Jesuit music ministry artists. This is JMM Radio. Get your day's dose of inspirational music. Tune in to JMM Radio every Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. Only here on radyo-katipunan 87.9 FM. Tara na't simulan ng inyong umaga sa mga magagandang refleksyon tungkol sa ating buhay at pananampalataya. Kasama sina Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle ng Manila, Father J. Boy Gonzales at Father Nono Alfonso ng Kapisanan ni Jesus, Father Cali Llamado ng Manila Cathedral, at Binibining Risa Singson Kaupeng ng Light of Jesus Community dito sa Kapit Pandasal sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. The Jesuit Hour. Get to know the Jesuits. Discover their spirituality, their history, their ministries. The Jesuit Hour. Anything Jesuit, everything Jesuit. The Jesuit Hour.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ear.
Do you long for a good spiritual read? Or for literature that not only feeds the mind, but nourishes the soul as well? Do you want to be inspired, feel positive and hopeful about life? Then read The Windhover, the official magazine of the Jesuits in the Philippines. Written by Jesuits and their lay partners, The Windhover features real stories about the Jesuits and their various ministries. Be inspired. Be blessed. Subscribe to The Windhover. For inquiries, call the Philippine Jesuit Aid Association at telephone numbers 426-6001, locals 4890 or 4892. Once again, Philippine Jesuit Aid Association, telephone numbers 426-6001, locals 4890 or 4892.
Kaibigan, alam mo na ba kung anong dapat gawin upang iwasan at sugpuin ang COVID-19? Iwasang hawakan ang bibig, mata at ilong. Laging maghugas ng kamay gamit ang sabon at tubig sa loob ng 20 segundo. Linisin ang mga bagay na palaging hinahawakan. Kumain ng balanse at masusustansyang pagkain. Matulog ng sapat, huwag magpupuyat. Stay home. Sa wastong pag-iingat, ang virus hindi kakalat. COVID-19, kayang-kaya nating tapusin.
We are now on YouTube. Watch all of our live episodes plus exclusive content in our channel at Radyo Katipunan FM. Don't forget to click subscribe and hit the bell to get the latest updates. Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.
Jescom Music Ministry, your daily dose of inspiration. Follow jescom.ph on Spotify and Jescom Music on YouTube. We are also on iTunes and Deezer.
Palalimin ang kamalayan sa mga isyong napapanahon. Makisangkot at makiisa kasama ang simbahang lingkod ng bayan. Ang Social-Political Apostolate ng Kapisanan ni Jesus. Ito ang Kwentuhang Bayan mula alas 11 ng umaga tuwing Biyernes dito lang sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Dahil naniniwala kami na posible ang isang mas mabuting lipunan at maaari itong simulan sa isang kwentuhan.
Get your daily dose of inspiration through our music. Follow jescom.ph on Spotify and Jescom Music in YouTube.
Radyo-Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
The fire we reported at the old fire hall is still burning out of...
Do you sometimes feel confused or lost in the complications and complexities of life? Do you feel drained, listless, or exhausted from the daily burdens and responsibilities? Why not seek our campus ministers on air every Tuesday from 2 to 3 in the afternoon? Listen to our counselors from the Loyola School's Campus Ministry Office as they ground our lives in our faith, in our school's spiritual tradition. Campus Ministers on Air. Be guided, be inspired, be blessed. Listen to our Campus Ministers on Air.
Radyo, 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 katipunan, radyo, katipunan, radyo, katipunan, radyo, 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 katipunan, radyo, katipunan. Voice of the Eagle kami, di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atin sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, radyo, katipunan. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, katipunero sugo. Todo sa kayod, tunong at tulong. Lipad na Blue Eagle, galing hiting at tigil.
Meron? Ano nga ba ang meron? Paano nga bang mabuhay ng tapat sa meron? Don't you wish you can relive your philo classes? The terror teachers? The terrible oral exams? Or the even terrifying but liberating and life-changing aha moments? Lundagin mo, Beybeh! Here's your chance! Lundagin mo, Beybeh! Kasama ang mga pilosopong sina Jovi, Miroy at Ron Capinding. Lundagin mo, Beybeh! Leaping upward, leaping forward. Lundagin mo, Beybeh! Leaping to greater heights, to greater wisdom, to greater magis. Lundag na, Ateneo!
Good afternoon. I think we're on, Sir Ron.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Started to rain where I am.
Sa amin kanina pa na mabagal. No? Magandang hapon po sa inyo mga nakikinig. Magandang basa at maulang Lunes ng hapon sa lahat ng mga nakikinig dito sa Radyo Katipunan. Sa aming palatuntunan tuwing Lunes na Lundagin mo, Beybeh. Kumusta ka, Sir Jovi? Kumusta ang nakaraang linggo mo?
Okay naman, masaya. Walang pasok eh.
Define masaya, sir.
Define masaya. Merong isang uring kapayapaan at isang positibong damdamin na nagbubunsod sa iyo na maging mabuti sa kapwa.
Oy, ikaw tahimik, ang saya mo pala. Ako ay maingay palagi ang saya ko. Yung mga kumakaol. May kumakaol na aso.
Alam ko masaya ka dahil ewan ko kung pwedeng sabihin yan.
Ano?
Ito tungkol sa mga anak mo.
Yeah, so medyo surprisingly, related sa topic natin ngayon, no? Surprisingly, yung mga anak ko, hindi naman sa may ginawa ako, no? But baka may nagawa akong tama, no? Kasi medyo Maganda po yung kanilang academic performance without me really pushing them.
Considering yung tatay nila. Sabi nga nila, di ba, yung intelligence galing sa nanay.
Considering na, mas mas wag mo na
Considering
aralin
na
yan.
kilala kita.
Yeah. So yun, in fact, speaking of, ang mga anak ko ay isang 21 years old na dalaga, tsaka isang binatilyong 17 years old. So parang yun ang mga edad, no? At yun nga, kahit na anong pagmamagaling ko sa ibang larangan, medyo na-insecure ako, tama ba to? Baka mamaya lumaki silang pasaway o paurong o meron akong pinagkait sa kanilang dapat nakuha nila. I really don't know. Especially now that my daughter is applying for job. Meron na siya job at hindi niya alam kung yun na ba yung the best. So these are very big life choices, life decisions. No? Even my son, do I want to proceed in this college? Ay mga inisip niya eh. So ano bang kurso? Malaking bagay. So merong mga kakampi sila sa tahanan, pero hindi silang marami nakikitang mga coaching na hindi nila hinihingi, unsolicited, mula sa social media. So you have a lot of info, you have a lot of
Alin kaya doon ang naging tunay na nag-impluwensya sa kanila?
Alin
kaya ang tunay nilang impluwensya? Yung,
oo nga, sana naman
nila.
Sana naman hindi ako, no? sana naman sa amin mga magulang niya. Kasi kami yung may tiyak na mabuting layunin para sa kanila. So yan po medyo pag-uusapan natin paksa ngayon. Tulad nga sabi ko dito sa Lundagin mo, Beybeh, yung pinapagaan namin yung tila mabigat na usapin at pinapabigat naman namin yung tila magaang usapin. Yun naman ang ginagawa namin dito. At meron tayong paksa ngayon na may kinalaman sa una, pinakamalaking konsepto ng inspirasyon nito ay galing sa shepherd. Sir Jovi, paliwanag mo nga yun. Dahil tinanggap ko lang yan. Ngayong July ba, may kinalaman sa shepherd?
May kinalaman yan doon sa sa readings kahapon. Wala na ako maisip eh. Kasi madalas pinag-uusapan yung past shepherding. Inisip ko, kailangan ba ng mga bata ngayon ng shepherding? Parang naman ako masyado akong critical sa mga pumilya. So,
yes, pero
yun ang naging
pati yung konsepto ng shepherding, di natin alam ano ba yun? Ito ba ay di bang shepherd naman hindi mo rin alam kung ano yun eh. Nagdidikta ba yun? Hindi ko. Pero yun nga, shepherding. At dahil inisip ni Sir Jovi na kabataan to, at tumayo naman ako nung inilok niya sa akin na pag-usapan, ang gusto namin pag-usapan ngayon ay yung pagpapastol dito sa kabataan. Paano po ba ito? Sabi ko nga kanina, meron tayong mga influencers, meron mga... Ang pamagat po natin, sabihin ko na, para mapagkalala natin ating mga pinagpipitagan ng mga panauhin. Ang pamagat ng ating palabas ngayon ay influencers, inspirers, and other shepherding roles. So, di ba? Di ko alam kung pilit na pilit yun, pero sabi ko nga kanina sa kwento ko kanina, hindi ko alam kung saan nakuha ng mga anak ko lahat ng kanilang husay at galing. At pero baka pati pahinaan, no? Kung sa influencers ba na napakarami ngayon, o sa inspire, o kung ano pa ba, sa magulang nila and other shepherding roles. Yun ang pinakamalaking tanong natin ngayon na gusto nating ungkatin sa lahat ng mga tao. What stimulates young people in making life choices? Okay. So dahil
we're so happy and so lucky to have our experts, so una yung ating bata. Yung bata sa ating grupo.
Kailan po experts pero kayo naman po mga bisita namin, hindi nyo kailangan magpaka-expert. Basta just be candid. Ano bang top of mind na sagot ninyo?
Well, sino bang expert sa kabataan kung hindi ang kabataan?
Oo nga. Ako, I agree with that. Anyway, sige. Sige, Sir Jovi, please proceed.
Ang una ay galing sa ating kaibigan na si Hans. Recommended siya ni Hans Juliano. No? So,
yes, sa ating suking si Hans.
If you remember him.
Yeah.
Ang pangalan niya ay si Kaf Kulaba, who's Ateneo batch 2017, who's now a graduate student at UP Diliman in linguistics. So more about her life story from her na lang, no?
Yeah.
Welcome, Kath. Welcome, Kath.
Welcome, Kat. Maraming salamat.
Hi, Sir Ron. Hi, Sir Jovi. Salamat po
Maraming
sa pag-imbita.
Yes. Maraming salamat sa pagpapa-unlock. Nakausap ko ng konting-konti lang si Kat at parang sa konting usap namin bago yung palabas, parang sarap malaman ko ano mga palagay niya sa mga bagay-bagay. Sir Jovi, ikaw na ba mapatuloy?
Ikaw na. Yung
Sige,
susunod natin
ako naman. With the few and little I know, but very deep naman ang aking mga alam tungkol sa kanya. It's an honor to introduce to you isang kababayan ko po na taga Tarlac din. Ka-alma mater ko rin po sa Don Bosco Tarlac. Siya po ay isang Salesian priest. At ako, di ko alam baka may magtampo sa akin, pero palagay ko kung tungkol sa kabataan, para sa akin, mahal ko rin ng mga Jesuits, no? Parang Salesians yata ang pinaka youth ang core charism nila. Parang pili ko kasi siya ay Salesians at kababayan ko. Sa ngayon siya rin ang parang di ko alam kung head or director ng vocations para sa Salesian vocations. Siya dito sa Pilipinas. At siya ay nireto rin sa atin tulad ni Hans Lee, nireto sa atin ni Father Joel Kamaya. Si Father Joel Kamaya ang mas kilala ko kasi kabatch ko yung anak niya si Emerson, no. Pero
excuse me, yung anak ni Father Joel?
Yung kapatid niya, I'm sorry. Very yung kapatid niya. Si Father Joel Kamaya is a batch ahead at ako ay magka-batch kami ng kapatid niya si Meng Emerson. Right. And then papakilala ko ngayon ay mas bata sa akin sa batch sa Don Bosco. Siya ay walang iba. Siya ay former principal din o kasalukuyang principal. Former principal ng Don Bosco Technical Institute Tarlac. Siya ay walang iba, Salesian priest, si Father Jason David, si Father J.
Yeah, hey, Maya Pabengi. Good evening sa inyong lahat. Thank you for having me.
Nakita niyo, Father, yung background ni Sir Ron.
Oo, meron ako Mary Help of Christians.
Meron siyang Mary Help of Christians.
Yes.
Pero meron laging kwento yan. Ano yung Ron, kwento mo lagi? Kung bakit meron kang statwa ng Mama Mary sa likod mo?
Ang dami kong kwento, sir. Anong kwento doon ng...
I'm sure ang dami niyan.
Kasi gusto mo magpakabait.
Oo, palagi. Pero minsan hindi ko napatay, meron pa palang mga Mary sa likod ko.
May papalo sa'yo.
Hindi, uma-attend talaga ako ng mga misa ni Father Dennis Pais online. At yun lang ang hiling niya. Wala kami sa simbahan, pero sana maglagay kayo sa likod ninyo ng anything that makes you more concretely in the zone. No? So, ayun ang pinili ko. Ito po ay galing sa office ko. Nung nag-pandemic, inuwi ko yung mga statwa sa office ko. Isipin niyo, Father, I was administrator ng Ateneo, pero ang statwa ko ay Mary Help of Christians sa office ko. Yun po. So, yeah, Father, salamat sa pagpupunlak sa amin. At yun nga po.
Welcome. I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to meet you all. Nice to see Kat, Jovi, and ikaw, Ron. Thank you.
Salamat po. Okay, magsimula na tayo. This is a question for both. No? Siguro si Kat muna o bahala kayo o si Father Jim. Gusto magsimula ng unang tanong. Gusto kong malaman, maintindihan, kasi bagong-bago rin sa akin, bago ako mag-plan sa ibang tanong. Ano pong alam nyo tungkol dito sa kasalukuyang influencers na sinasabi nila na napakarami ngayon? That is not a word before. Influence is just a verb. Now it's become, it has a noun form of influencer. And then what does it actually mean? Parang by its name, it's attractive. Parang ako gusto ko maging influencer if I understand it right. No? But I want to understand it right. Ano po ba yan? Ano ba yan? Sige si Kat, baka mas alam niya ito kaysa sa ano. Yeah,
sige po. From the youth world, no, siguro. Ang alam ko, influencer malakas sa Twitter tsaka sa Instagram, two apps that I'm not active in.
Yeah.
But the way that I understand it, it's young people directing or providing a sense of this is what's trending right now. This is what matters to a lot of people right now. And if that relates to a lot of people, then it translates to a huge parang influence. So that's in a very general sense. Ayun po. Kaya siya, I think, naging noun kasi from a verb that is a process, naging noun kasi napunta sa isang tao yung proseso, mas naging salient yung individual kaysa sa mismong proseso.
Yeah.
I think.
So usually, wala naman siya kailangang sariling endorsement. So any endorsement, parang endorser siya ng kahit na ano, possible. Just like celebrities who can endorse one or... So bakit hindi sila celebrity? Hindi sila celebrity but they can endorse. Ganun ba ibig sabihin ng...
Actually, doon
Yes,
sila...
Father.
Actually, mas doon sila nagiging click kasi hindi sila endorsers. They are... It's their life, it's their principle, it's their hobby, it's their interest that they share. Kaya mas nagiging parang nakaka-identify yung mga nakikinig. Kasi pag endorser, alam nila binabayaran lang yun eh. Hindi ka man sure kung talagang Colgate ba talaga ang toothpaste ni Agamulak, di ba? Or kumakain ba talaga sa Jollibee si Agamulak. Pero itong mga ito, ipapakita talaga nila na buhay nila yun. Ginagawa talaga nila yun, pumupunta talaga sila doon. So, it's more appealing to young people kasi nakaka-identify sila at may genuineness, no? Yung kanilang ginagawa. At yun ang talagang gusto ng kabataan, yung genuine, totoong-totoo sa kanila.
Baka pwede ko tugtungan yung kay Father?
Yes,
I think ang maganda yung sinabi niya na it's genuine, and I think it has something to do with, kasi celebrities are typically part of an industry, and influencers not necessarily, and madaming influencers na nasa labas na industriya ng entertainment, it's outside profit usually, but sometimes also. So I think that's a good parang determiner na it's outside an industry that has an intent to manufacture something. Kaya may sense of genuinity and authenticity ka.
At saka makikita mo kasi doon yung struggles nila in that line. Halimbawa, ako, nung pandemya, nung na-lockdown tayo, I was thinking of what to do. Ang buhay ko dati, mag-ikot all over the country, all over Luzon to look for vocations, knock sa mga pintuan ng mga eskwelahan, and give retreat, recollection, so that I could introduce a vocation in general, no? Pero dahil na-lockdown tayo, sabi ko, nung gagawin ko? So, nangailangan kami ng cabinet. So, sige, sabi ko, ako na lang gagawa ng cabinet. Wala tayong makukuha ng karpintero dahil bawal lumabas. So, I began doing carpentry works. At ang naka-influence sa akin, yung mga influencers in carpentry. At pinapanood ko sila, sinusubaybayan ko sila. Tapos makita ko yung mistakes nila, may napuputol, may nasisira. So, nung pinapanood ko yun, sabi ko, kaya ko rin yan. So, itong nakikita yung background na yan, ako nang gumawa niyan, no? Ako nang nagkumpuni niyan, ako nang naglagari niyan. So, yun, I think mas appealing sila talaga and mas may effect kasi parang parehas kayo ng pagdadaanan. In fact,
si Father merong talk show. Father talk show ba yan?
Bok Talk ang talk show namin. Kasi nga dahil, ito tulad ninyo, dahil sa pandemya, hindi ako makalapit sa eskwelahan. So nag-broadcast pa rin ako online. I think nakaka 50 or 40 episodes na kami. Nag-guest lang ako ng iba-ibang vocations din, no? So pero although laging tungkol sa vocations, pagpapari, pagmamadre, doktor, piloto, engineer, ganyan, no?
So yan na. Tanungin natin si Kath. Have you made life decisions? What would you consider as a life choice as a can we still call you a millennial or
I think technically I am a millennial, although my critique my thesis advisor sa development studies program was Sir Jail Cornelio, and he's written a lot about the concept of millennial. In terms of dates, siguro kung yun yung pagbabasihan, I am technically one. And yeah, I still do make a lot of life decisions. Siguro makakonsider mo siyang life decision kung malalim yung consideration na binuhos mo doon sa decision na yun, and that you can separate it from your mundane, parang almost the things that you do na hindi mo naman masyadong pinag-iisipan, like kakain ka, inom ka. But ayun. So I do it almost every day, I guess, in terms of commitment na din.
Yeah. Yeah,
right,
sabi nga nila, vocation is an everyday commitment. No? Like trabaho mo. Paninindigan mo ba yan? O everyday, paninindigan ko ba ng mga natili rito o hindi? Babalik ako dun sa salitang influencer. Not because I want to talk about influencers, but it used to be influence, the root word, no? The root word. The word influence means something very heavy and important and deep, no? Like influence. It's like that's what leaders are made of, their capacity to influence. Now, dun ba sa the way influence is used in influencer, pareho ba yun? Are these can we consider them as leaders or I'd like to...
So parang to make it simple na lang. Yung influencers ba ay leaders? Are they considered as leaders? But si Kath ba, do you make those choices based on the influencers or yourself?
Definitely malaki yung influence ng madaming tao on me. And not necessarily na may label sa forehead nila na I'm an influencer or I'm a leader, but just people whose opinions and whose work you value is already a big influence on me. So when I make a decision, iniisip ko saan ako papunta, but always in relation to the community that I'm part of or even the community that I want to build or to get to. So, yeah. I do consider...
yung mga anak ko, I don't know if they can demarcate where what they saw and what they read and what they learned in school and what they learned outside and what they learned through their friends. Kung saan nagsisimula at natatapos yun eh. So I think sama-sama na nga lahat yun. So they'll just have to distill it by themselves, no? To choose. But yun na nga, ngayon, medyo misleading. Naman misleading, no? Yung paggamit sa akin ng salitang influencers, parang ang laki tuloy ng kahulugan para sa akin because I value the word influence very, very much. So, doon ako...
So you try to be a good influencer?
Yes, exactly. So kami sa academia nang iniisip namin, okay ba ito? Meron kailangan ba natin i-counter itong culture na to o ganyan? What do young people need ba to help them make life decisions or life choices? Sa buhay talaga, of course, meron ba silang kailangan? Para lang sa aming mga matatandaan nagtatanong. So that's a question for Kat. And of course, to Father J also, napakalagay ko, alam niyo po mga solutions.
Teka muna, Ron. I was looking at the material in the internet on the question of today. I think I'm a millennial when I make my life choices.
What?
Yes. Kasi yung isang sinasabi nila tungkol sa millennials, they are driven by purpose rather than money. So mas marami yun ang decisions nila not based solely on what they will get or profit, but on what drives them. So I'm very much of a millennial.
Ganyan din naman ako, sir.
What were you asking, Father? What were you asking?
No, I was asking, not just Father, no, Father and Kat. Young people, what do they need to help them make life decisions, choices? Ano ba dapat when you try to rear or bring up a person like I have my own kids, what can we, ano dapat sanang naparanas ko at tiniyak ko na meron? Or based on experience din, Kat, what do you wish you knew or had gone through para matulungan yung paggawa ng desisyon ganito?
Bago ko sagutin yun, short lang, yung question kanina, are influencers leaders? I think si John Maxwell yung merong stages of leadership. Yung lowest niya is position and then permission, so on and so forth. Ang last niya, ang number one category ng mga leaders is influence. No? So therefore, every time you influence, you become a leader. Kaya talagang
that's an old din, di ba? Yung libro ni
really
is How to Make Friends and Influence People.
Correct. Doon sa question
naman neo-liberal din siya.
What do
influencing?
In my experience with young people, yung anong kailangan nila para sa decision making?
Yes.
Ang number one siguro, kasi talagang may place pa rin ang family. May place pa rin ang parents sa bawat sulok ng puso ng isang tao, no? Yung mga primary caregivers niya. So, they matter a lot. Kahit na may influencers, pero they will do what the influencers do pero nandun pa rin sa back of his mind yung sasabihin ng parents. Therefore, kailangan na ang parent, i-assure niya yung anak niya na, anak, kung ano man ang pipiliin mo, nandito kami. Mas nagkakaproblema kapag si mommy at si daddy, sinasabi nila kung ano yung life decision niya. Kasi pag agree si anak dun sa life decision niya with the parents, walang problema. Pero nagkaka-conflict kapag iba yung gusto ni anak sa gusto ng magulang. Kaya therefore, mas maganda ka sa parents if assurance ang ibibigay and openness na anak, basta pinagdesisyonan mo yung mabuti, nandito kami, susuportahan ka namin.
It's like providing
Napakalaking bagay nun.
Providing the support but not actually
dictating.
Controlling the reins. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
So magulang, father, no? Palagay ko, eskwelahan din. Marami kasi ang sagot dito, mistakes. Kailangan magkaroon sila mistakes. Allow them to commit mistakes. I don't know if that's true. May din ako nabasa na ang sabi nila, medyo dangerous to yung pagsabi na don't talk to strangers. As a general rule, but di na lang natin turuan. Kasi pag yun ang lagi narinig ng mga bata, so ang dami mong kukuha sa strangers. So ibig ko lang sabihin, baka mayroon tayong ginawang codes na ng mga pagpapalaki natin that are also in a way we can question. So baka, yun mga again, may question si Kat siguro. Ano pa bang kailangan ng young people to perhaps help them? Sabi ni Father, malaking tulong yung support ng magulang. Kung meron ganyan, malaking bagay na yun. No? Para for both the freedom of the youngster and also so for him or her to be less frightened. Yes, Kat.
Yeah, I agree with Father Jay na napaka-importante ng isang support system in an environment. So even though hindi lang pamilya na biological but friends, colleagues even. And I think that really provides a stable parang jumpstart for anybody trying to figure out something very uncertain. Pero I also agree with the mistakes part, no? Na sinabi niya Sir Ron. Or more generally, siguro life events or life experiences that make you question the things that you used to hold on to as common sense. Kasi dun mo, like right before your eyes, may evaluate mo ano nga ba yung pinahalagahan ko, saan nga ba ako papunta. So doon mo mas malalim na pag-iisipan yung life decisions na ginagawa mo. But also, that's not really easy kasi like every day, parang you're just floating, doing your routine. So perhaps a mindset as well. So hindi ka lang mag-aantay na may mangyari sa'yo. But you try to learn a new mindset wherein you try to evaluate things more differently or something like that.
Know yourself.
Yeah.
You reflect on it on your own.
Yeah, pag-qualify lang yung sa sinabi ko kanina na may nabasa ako na don't talk to strangers. Hindi, sabi ng speaker doon o yung author ng libro, ang sinasabi niya, sana mag-invest tayo ng panahon on how a child can scrutinize kung sino yung suspicious, yung too good to be true. Kasi yung wag lang, blanket lang na ganun. Because ang hirap i-outgrow ng kalaunan minsan lalo na pag high school. And there are a lot of beauty and goodness that can be drawn from interacting with strangers din kuminsan, di ba? So, yun na. Kinualify ko lang yan. My next question, baka mas madaling sagutin ito. Imbis na tanungin ko naman kung ano yung dapat meron sa pag-shepherd ng kabataan. Ano naman yung not needed ng young people para sa inyo? Yung things that adults perhaps or even parents must avoid providing or doing sa inyong karanasan bilang mga exposed sa kabataan o mismong kabataan. What do young people not need from the adults, okay? In making to help them make better life decisions and life choices. Anyone with the ako may sagot din ako diyan bilang teacher pero sa studying yan hindi sa life decisions yung mga may helicopter parenting kami. But I don't know, baka meron mga particulars na pwedeng ibahagi sa atin si Father Jay at si Kat on this.
Tanungin ko muna si Father. Father, do you see yourself as a priest, as a shepherd? You do, right?
Yes.
But has the meaning of shepherd changed as you know, you now look for vocations in the 21st century? Is it still the same as what it used to mean, being a shepherd?
Siguro nagbago lang yung environment, nagbago lang yung details ng buhay natin ngayon, pero basically they are the same, no? We are trying to assist and be with young people towards God and towards the fullness of life. So parehas pa rin.
Paano, Father, kung
yung
they're not believers, or they're not very open to the faith? How what is the...
Yun ang challenge, yeah. So
that's mostly my students.
yeah, pero yun lang ang nagbago siguro, no? Leading naman, not necessarily dependent lang sa condition nila, kasi yun yung challenge. You accept it as a challenge na despite not believing, how can you help them live the fullness of life?
Okay.
Yeah.
Pero madalas face din lang yung hindi sila naniniwala kay God or hindi sila close kay God. If you continue to be with them and assist them, somewhere, sometime, God will intervene for them and manifest his life and love for them. Just be patient with them.
So parang ganun nga. Hindi katulad dati, no, Ron?
Ano ba?
Very impatient ako dati, di ba?
Yeah, ako din. I've learned that also. I am also very impatient, but I've learned that sa high school. It's the clay is not as soft, but not yet as hard. So kailangan talaga ng very delicate way of forming it. Ayaw mo na ma-impose yun sa'yo, but at the same time, kailangan. So yun. Sa high school kasi ako Sir Jovi. So,
alam ko yun, Ron, nasa high school ka.
Ano?
Alam ko naman nasa high school ka.
Yeah, ibig sabihin, parang hanggang ngayon.
So magkaiba. Sa high school, kailangan ng mas formative. Ganun ba?
Sa amin, pag di natuto, kasalanan pa namin palagi.
Ganun ba?
Parang kami, malaki yung guilt complex namin sa high school pag may hindi natuto. But because we still have to respect learning styles, hindi lang basta teaching style. Another question, when may influencers, bakit hindi inspirers? Iba ba yun? Or meron bang ganun? We have influencers. Parang ako personally, kung ganyan na influencer, na I just show my how I take care of my dogs and how I do things. As a teacher, I hope I can
actually
inspire students.
Si Kath, do you also have an experience of being in a position of having to influence, or shepherding? Have you ever been in a position, or have you ever experienced that you needed to guide people from a certain mindset to another mindset?
I think, well, yes. I guess technically, yes. The job demands it. The task demands it. Pero the question of nagawa ko ba is another question.
When was that? What was your experience of having to shepherd people, so to speak, or influence people?
I guess in my work, yung first job ko ever after college, I was an organizer in the fast food industry, and I think yun yung the bane of the job of an organizer is to parang invite people into union around something na you carry, or sila din naman meron nun, but you're the one who's trying to tie everything together or facilitate that. It's very tough, I would say. Kung yung intent mo ay dito tayo papunta, but along the way we negotiate as well. because you have to consider everybody else's contexts. And yung personal experience ko as an Atenean, before Ateneo, as in a private school, buong buhay ko, it's quite sheltered. No? Tapos, bigla akong lalabas outside of those comfort zones. It's very difficult. Lalo na kung yung kausap mo is somebody who doesn't really share the world that you grew up in, sort of. So, ayun po. Yeah.
It was very tough. So did you
Yeah.
think that you needed to be imposing na din at some point? Or did you also have to develop patience?
Definitely patience, but I think at a more deeper level, doon talaga ako napaisip. Kaya ako napunta actually sa linguistics was, I realized later on, after 2 years in movement work, social movement work, na I actually don't understand what people are saying. And that's not easy to accept. Na parang may sinabi, kunyari, madaming people who believe in the same politics as you do, who don't share the same views as you do, and you want to shepherd them of sorts to your own moral system. Pero hindi kayo nagtutugma. And when they try to explain their side to you, you hear them, you hear the sentences, you know the words that they speak, but at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense to you. No, so parang ano gagawin mo?
Oo, kasi parang yun na nga yung dinidihado, ayaw nyo pang to do something about it. Parang ganyan ba? I'm just assuming. I'm part of a playwright kasi. I'm always just assuming things. Mga ganyan ba nangyari dyan na?
It's parang kunyari, something very obvious, for example, is the Duterte regime, no, and the opposition is as the receiving end of the attacks. And sometimes there would be activists who actually believe in Duterte. How do you make sense of that, for example? No? If you follow the rationality model, that's not supposed to make sense. And yet, a lot of people hold on to that. So, and then when they explain their side to you, okay, naririnig ko sinasabi mo, alam ko yung sinasabi mo, pero hindi ko intindihan. So what does that mean? So, yun po yung karanasan ko in the challenge of being a shepherder of sorts.
Yeah. So, Father, you see, parang we're all in the same boat.
Yeah. In fact, yun ang gusto kong take away dito sa ating program ngayon. Si Kat took linguistics probably to help her make sense of communication from other sectors. No? Ako, Father Kat, hindi ko alam ano may papayo nyo. I'm also just trying to shepherd my own kids, no? And then I admit, no, napakaraming beses, mas marami kasi sa tatay ko, na nagsorry ako sa mga anak ko. Kasi there's somehow a lot of things that no, I didn't know. Compared to how my dad was, he's all-knowing and very rare na magsisorry sa amin siya. Kailangan namin maintindihan. We're supposed to I didn't know that's insensitive. Ang dami pa inclusivity and all. I had to say, I don't know. So parang is the best way to not be shepherding them, because I when sometimes even in my effort to do something, napapahiya ako or nakaka-cause ako ng malala because medyo galing ako sa ibang time. At Generation X naman ako, hindi naman ako nandun sa boomer, no? So yun ang pinakatanong.
Pareho kayo na generation ni Father.
Pareho kami generation ni Father. Pero yun ang now, in the topic of shepherding, anong shepherding yan? Yung bang aking staff ay stricto or dapat ganun? Hindi ko alam eh. How do you even do it properly now? Okay?
There's no one way. There's no one way of shepherding, no? And that will be impossible. Therefore, being a father, there is no one way also. You are totally different from your dad. And you need to accept your uniqueness. Kung ikaw marunong mag-sorry, that's your big advantage. And if you feel like saying sorry and you did that, I think that's a gift and that's a grace na nagawa mo yon. You don't need to compare yourself to your dad. Get the good things from your dad, pero be who you are. Madalas, di ba, authenticity nga yung mahalaga sa kanila. Ang mahalaga, hindi ka nagpapanggap, hindi ka nagkukunwari, hindi ka humihingi ng isang bagay na ikaw din hindi mo magagawa. Huwag mong hingin sa kanila at paggawa yung mga bagay na kayong mag-asawa You are asking for forgiveness from them, and then kayo mag-asawa di nagpo-forgive. So be genuine, be who you are, and that is the best way to lead. As a principal, I'm sure you are totally different from your previous principal, and you have gifts na ikaw lang ang makabibigay sa mga estudyante ninyo, na God gave those gifts na if you maximize them, you will be the best principal, you will be the best father, you will be the best mom, you will be the best kuya if you just be the best that you can be authentically.
And genuinely, authentically. I agree. Para lang sa yung ibang sorry doon, I must admit, minsan di ko ginagawa. Pero as it, tapos naramdaman mo, mas bigat. So tapos na yung dinner where I should have said it earlier, but di eh. Tapos pinalampas ko, and I feel, so if you just listen to yourself, I think that's the authentic self, no? I don't feel good about this. And I go up, and then, I'm sorry. I think I was out of line. Minsan nga late, no? But at the same time, you sense it. It's not something that you can just fade away kung talagang it's against your, if you are empathizing with the, so yun nga, I just, pero yung sorry naman ang context nun, naduduwag tuloy ako, Father, in the sense na, or Kat, na dami ko hindi alam. Halimbawa, Sir Jovi, I direct a play, no? Online, nagdidirect ako. Bigla ko may nasabi na, Dad, you don't say that kasi parang that's so insensitive. Ang dami ng a lot to be sensitive towards kumpara nung panahon namin. And I'd like to be adhering to that. Don't get me wrong. But certain mistakes really happen. And I find myself being so cautious and careful right now. Yun lang. Kat, baka mamaya ikaw halos kaedad mo yung mga
in terms of anong sabihin na shepherding para sa akin, at medyo mahirap siya, no? Kasi it's really kailangan mong makiramdam sa tao na hindi yung ako lang ang gumagalaw, susunod na lang kayo. I think nagustuhan ko pa yung minention nyo briefly about empathy. So it's a very tough thing to do, I think. You can say it's very callously in words, pero in terms of actions, empathy is very difficult, wherein you try to stand on other person, or parang wear another person's shoes. May magandang definition dito si one of the my academic heroes, George Lakoff. He defined empathy as you never feel well-being until the other person feels a sense of well-being. So it's like your well-being is tied to another person. In terms of shepherding, I think that can work. Now, in terms of when I do something, it's always gonna affect somebody else, but somebody else's actions will always, as a shepherd, will also affect me. So we move in terms of groups in a sense. So I think also yun yung naging effect ng noun from verb to noun na influencing to, or influence to influencer, ay na-focus sa iisang tao yung pagbabago. No, when in fact we can sort of zoom out and see that we're actually will always be part of a community, and when we shepherd, we move in groups. So, ayun ba, mukhang tinanggal ko yung shepherd sa picture.
Well, that's true. That's true. The leader that millennials look for, parang hindi siya yung una, but it's the community that is...
More of, I guess, a facilitator of sorts, na pag may hindi na nag-meet, na may barrier na nabuo, baka pwede nating tingnan in another sense at mabuo ulit yung pagsasama, tapos move again.
So, Kath, when you went into your graduate studies, is this a form of like arming yourself? Pardon the use of the word arm. Equipping yourself to better... Is it like you surrender? I cannot do that kind of thing.
It's more of, I think it's a search for deeper understanding, really, of not just of people, but of how the world in general works. Sobrang medyo hindi ko pa actually masyado ma-define. But when I was faced with a lot of questions, I was looking for answers. No? And politics was a big part of my life. Well, it still is. I'm still 25 though. So, and mukhang yun din naman kasi pupuntahan ng mundo, hindi lang ng Pilipinas, given everything that's happening, climate change, authoritarian nation states, all that stuff. napakalaking challenge for young people. I mean, young people have dreams, and my peers are looking for stable jobs, for a sense of a stable future. But given the face of everything that's happening globally, may sort of tension na ano nga bang meron in the future. So at the same time, parang simultaneous with the search for stability is a sense of doom and fatalism. And in that kind of world that we live in right now, as a young person, I wanted to understand something, at least grasp onto something. And yeah, yun, napadpad ako sa MA.
I guess yung tinatanong mo, Ron, kanina, which we can ask again, no? What about inspirer daw? Is that still something that
wala
would have
inspirer, no? But
cachet in today's world? Imbis na shepherd, imbis na influencer, inspirer.
yeah, but bakit walang inspire? Ba't mas uso yung influencer? Is it because hindi prescriptive? Hindi naman prescriptive yung inspire. Inspire kasi is parang, I'd like to, baka inspiring din ang influencer. So a lot of thoughts are happening in my mind. But I personally, when I started teaching 27 years ago, I want to inspire. Yun ang sinasabi ko sa sarili ko. I want to inspire. But paano po ba yun? Is that
Inspire what? Inspire what? Sorry kasi masanay ako kay Ron. Ay, ganun ako
personally,
sa kanya.
ako personally, tatlong areas. Ako sa akin yun, iba-iba. Inspire them for performance, no? Not just on stage, but performance, or inspire them in the Filipino language, or inspire them. I think ito na yung guideline ng buhay ko, vivification. Lagi akong may way to vivify. Parang gusto ko make things new, make things alive. Parang laging theme yan ng buhay ko. Sinusuri ko, no? Pro-vivification ako. So I'd like to, yung mga areas na yun, they're not particular, they're not prescriptive, but just to be infectious, ganun, or inspiring. Paano po ba yun? I know we're talking about terms here na hindi naman sa panahon ko, no? Bagong-bago. Influencer. I'm just really trying to understand influencer kasi dati kami yun kaming teachers yun di ba? Tapos ngayon, may influencer. So paano ba yun? How does that play out in that whole buhay ng mag-aaral? Dati may magulang siya, may peers, tapos may teacher siya. Tapos ngayon may influence. So,
pero parang yun yung sinabi ni Kath na yung well-being ng tao ay is there. No, parang yun yung empathy when the person has this na-inspire siya, no? Yung maybe not necessarily to make them do something, no? Kasi kapag ka ganun, edi nawala yung freedom nung tao, Sir Ron. Well, anyway, ano na nga tinatanong natin, Sir Ron?
Yeah, it's influencer versus inspirer. Hindi naman. The fact na, yun ba yun? When you say inspire, isn't that a bigger thing or...
Si Father, ano daw? Bakit hindi daw inspirer imbis na ano?
Yun nga, no? So, kasi nga ayaw ng kabataan yung nare-restrict siya. Tapos, hindi naman, syempre the better word talaga is inspirer. At yun ang gusto natin, no? Lahat tayo, ang gusto natin sana maging inspiring ang lahat because when you speak of inspirer, parang you're bringing everybody to the next level, to a higher place or plane, yeah, no? So syempre gusto natin yun. For me, mas higher yun, and sana ang goal ng lahat ng influencers ay maging inspirers. Hindi lang sila yung, for example, ewan ko, siguro, sorry sa mga dog lovers, no? Hindi naman ako dog lover, pero kung i-influensyahan mo lang ang mga tao for the sake of, let's say, sige, fashion na lang, no? Fashion or food. If you're just influencing people just to taste this food and to taste that, go to that restaurant, wear this clothes, parang hindi mo na improve yung quality of life ng mga tao. Na persuade mo lang sila dun sa gusto mo. Sana ang intention is to a higher level. Maybe maging chef din sila. Maybe maging passion din nila yung pagluluto or create new food or create new menus. No? So, parang sana
kasi yata
the goal
ito, mga influencers, they influence people to buy stuff. No?
Yes,
buy
yes.
things.
sana from influencer maging inspirer. I think that's a better and higher form of doing things.
Or, and yes, I agree. And perhaps pati yung nakikinig sa kanila can also be
Inspired.
conscious of that, to read between the lines, to look through it and to look beyond it. Na halimbawa, yung example niyo, father, kung sa kanya ay pag-aalaga ng aso, na magandang example naman, no? Pero baka ikaw makita mo yung valuing of life,
Yes.
yun ang ma-pick up, ng mga hindi ganun kaliteral ang tingin nila. Kung about food, then it's about national identity pala pinag-uusapan. Parang so I think they can just extract and abstract the themes. Correct. Also from authentic people, but very 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 granular, very concrete ang ginagawa ng taong yun, di ba? Hindi naman sa big principle ang pinopromote niya, but siguro sa education system na rin matuto na rin yung mga kabataan na magbasa ng mga bagay na simple at makita kung ano yung malalaking tema sa likod nun.
Correct.
So
actually, for me, lahat ng influencers, the challenge is maging inspirers to bring them to that level na ang makita nila, bawa nga sa aso, hindi lang pets, kundi the value of life, the value of nature, no? Yung malid nila sa ganung mga the important and
the
deeper
value of
values of
relationship.
humanity.
Pero
Yes.
Kat at Father J, meron tayong mga kabataan din. Sana hindi ganun karami, pero baka nga marami rin sila na nasa who are crying for help. Yun din naman na encounter namin sa population ng mga estudyante. Meron kaming binabantayan talaga sa
Madami.
Oo. So somehow they are siguro may nadapa along the way, very very or na-expose unwillingly sa isang bagay na almost damaged him or her. Sa mga ganun naman, how do you shepherd them? How do you rectify or reform or transform those who are crying for help? Hindi ko naman sinasabi unsolicited, no? Yung parang nahihirapan. Kasi kahit yung pag-act out, cry for help yun eh. Kahit yung mga, alam mo yun, parang those who are, who seem to, paano ba yun? It's very delicate. No? How do you shepherd that? What is the role of a shepherd in that situation? When I say shepherd, general na yun, no? Teacher, magulang, a friend who's taking the higher ground. O kahit na part, basta sino man pwedeng umalalay sa parang naggugulumihanan, nalilito o or burden na kabataan.
For me, unang-una is kailangan nila ng people who would show them care. Na kahit na anong nagawa niya, kahit na ang laki ng pagkakamali niya, somebody has to show care. Kung magulang ang unang makakapagpakita nun, so good. Kung teacher yon, wow. Kung best friend yon, yun ang unang-unang kailangan niya. Na hindi siya itatapon ng society the way our government is doing to sa mga nagkakasala at nagkakamalit, nagkikrimen, no? Parang tinatapon na, wala na kayong kwenta, pwede na kayong patayin, no? Parang ganun ang ginagawa at message na binibigay ng gobyerno. Basta nagkamali ka, sige, tapon na yun sa basurahan. Pero ang unang-unang kailangan nating iparamdam, wala dapat mangiiwan sa kanya. Dapat feeling niya meron pa rin siyang kasama. At from there, hindi mo na, malayo na mararating nun. Malayo na mararating nun na merong araw-araw mangangamusta sa kanya at magpaparamdam na you're okay. We still love you. You're still great. There is goodness in you. No? Somebody has to make that person feel that. At magsisimula na dun ang iba pang bagay.
Si Kath, do you agree with Sir Ron na marami are crying for help?
Yeah.
Pero parang,
yeah, definitely. In my age group, probably every other person has anxiety, has depression. I myself, in college, suffered from that. Until now, it's still something that you have to work on. One thing from a personal perspective is a group of people who are there, who would hold your hand or just make you feel a sense of security.
Correct.
Yeah, so very similar to what Father Jay said. But at the same time, kung third person, external person ka na who's trying to help, admit as well na hindi mo naiintindihan yung tao completely, because assuming can lead to a lot of conflict, I would say. Tapos second would be seek professional help. Now, a lot of researchers, academics, psychologists, professionals have done lots of studies, which I personally have found helpful. So, ayun po.
Yan, aminin ko, these are very new, no? Pero hindi talaga new. They've been there all this time. Pero the fact na pinag-uusapan na natin siya and we're promoting seeking help dati kasi hindi natin, sa panahon natin, Father Jay, Sir Jovi, hindi sa best friend mo lang mo yan inaamin, no? But now that it's there, that is so different. It's also one of the reasons why I needed to say sorry to my kids, yung tendency mo mag-dismiss ng mga bagay na ito. Because dati, nung panahon natin, pero ngayon that they are really identified, and because iba na rin talagang panahon ngayon, no? Hindi mo naman pwede sabihin, ng panahon namin, kapag meron kang anxiety dati is just it's not a technical term. Pero ngayon may totoong anxiety. Dati anxiety is like a word in dictionary, it's another word for nervous at ganyan. But no, may mga kaibigan ako na kinikwento sa akin and now I understand that it's really, or a panic attack. I haven't heard of that dati.
And
so when I hear that, I feel so, yun nga lang ang pibigay ko, caring. I can only care. At ayaw ko di ako makapagmagaling. Maybe that's the word. Yung sinasabi ni Kat, no? Kung third person ka, huwag ka nang magmagaling. Baka mas ma-damage mo pa yung, yun na. So,
Adults and friends should remember na ang hirap aminin na may problema ka or you're in that situation. Therefore, kapag may kaibigan ka or anak na nagsabi, kailangan mong alagaan, i-treasure yung sinabi niya na nanghihina siya or depressed siya. Kailangang alagaan yun na parang precious wealth. Kasi it was difficult for them. It will be difficult for them to admit. Kaya pag sinabi yun, go. Be there for them and assist them. Yeah.
Yes. So, Sir Ron, how does the picture look like to you now?
To just go back to the title, alam mo, nagsimula tayo na kung saan tayo nagsimula na influencer, ganyan. There is this thing that it's so accessible to all youth, no? Dito sa social media. And I think ang pinaka-naive na pwede natin sabihin, iwasan mo na kasi, hindi na nga maiwasan eh. So with that phenomenon na marami talaga secretly or liberally pinupuntahan ng mga bata, baka ang pwede mo lang maayos ay sarili mo eh. So anong pwede nating ipayo na may ganito ng phenomenon na dami, may boom ng information, may influencers, may inspire, mayroong vloggers lang nga, hindi walang sini-influencer. Pinapakita lang paano maglaro ng video game at paano mag-prank na ibang tao. And this is what occupies the time of watching this is what occupies the time of a lot of people. Pero instead of judging that, with that phenomenon, how do you not balance siguro or complement that as a real human being trying to make sure that you are equipping the youngster in making good choices, life choices? Sino po ba? Meron ng ganito eh. Ayoko nang turn aid na, tumigil ka na. Huwag ka nang 2 hours ka lang. Ayoko nang mag-ganon. No? Parang, ano po ba? Ano po bang ibang paraan?
Ako, empowerment, no? We need to empower your son, your daughter with values. So, kailangan maganda yung foundation ng values. Kailangan may time na iuupo mo siya tapos ipapakita mo ano yung mahalaga. Like, pag sinabi mong, anak, ang pamilya ha, number 1 sa atin, no? Basta walang iwanan. Dito tayo, ha? Anak, yung prayer, number 2 to, sama-sama tayo. Kailangan ilinaw mo sa anak, sa mga bata, ano yung mahalaga sa inyo. Honesty, responsibility. Basta, let those important values stay para kahit ano ang kakainin niyang information, pag established yun, unti-unti kakayanin niya yun. Tapos, second siguro suggestion ko is, bigyan mo sila ng maraming yung parang practice sa buhay. Like, para sa akin, ang sports, theater, arts, kailangan mong isalang ang lahat ng kabataan sa ganyan. Kasi sa mga experiences na yon, natatalo na sila paunti-unti. Pero yung risk, konti lang. Pwede kang lumaban ulit. Pwede kayong mag-arte-arte ulit. Pwede kayong mag-practice ulit. No? So, kailangan ma-establish yung foundation through those activities. Hindi kasi natututo lahat through words lang, no? So kailangan maranasan nila through yan, theater, sports, dance, learning a guitar. Mag-aral ka lang ng gitara, sasakit yung daliri mo, masusugat yan, bago mo mapapatugtog yan. So pag nararanasan mo yung life na may kasamang pain, na kapag hindi ka nagtiyaga, hindi mo mapapatunog, hindi mo So, yung ganun, no? Tas kailangan paulit-ulit, kailangan. So, kailangan yun. Yun for me ang mga basic things. So, foundation of values na iuupo ni magulang, ni teacher, ng school niya, ng kinder teacher niya. And then, make them experience life, simulate life through these activities like sports, events, theater, dancing, and so on.
Si Ron, ano yan? Sports ka ba, Ron? Sports?
Well, you cannot escape sports pag Bosconian ka. Kahit hindi yun ang interest mo, maraming sports. You have to have a sports. So, nakaranas naman ako. Pero mas theater talaga ako. Before I listen to what Kat has to say, gusto ko lang sabihin na may sinabi si Don Bosco, not accurately, no? Nasa formation ng isang youth, ang pinakamalaga para sa kanya ay playground, theater, chapel, pinakahuli yung classroom. Mauna yung mga playground, theater, chapel, tapos pinakahuli yung classroom. Yeah, Kat, what about, kumusta? Ikaw naman, what can you say about that? How do you prepare them for this kind of life now?
I completely agree with what Father Jason said. I think values are very important. Kasi I think what's happening now is madaming artifacts, like for example, technology, career, that are abstracted. Na parang we treat it in terms of abstract entities na that are no longer subsumed under what does it mean to have human connection, no? What does it mean to relate to one another? But if we, I think, explicitly make those things alive again, to actually discuss those with children, no? Paano mo palalaki yung bata with a very moralistic worldview that is at the same time malleable naman according to how they grow. And to subsume those abstracted artifacts within that kind of, this is what it means to be human deeply. I think that will give them a sense of stability on how to approach not just this new world that we see right now, but where it's gonna go to. So ayun po.
Right.
Thank you, Father J at Kat, no? So yung pinaka-question natin sa topic is, I understand now what stimulates young people in making life choices. Yung what stimulates, maraming stimuli sa paligid, pero yung what stimulates them is kung ano yung nasa foundation nila. What actually moves, what takes them based on what they've been, what's been instilled in them. Parang yun ang nakikita ko. So mahalaga nga yung foundation na yun sa pamilya, sa edukasyon, sa good company na kasama niya. Yeah. So, yes.
Baka may message si Kath and Father Jason. Like, Father Jason, you want to invite them to your book talk? And
Naka-is naman, 1 hour lang tayo.
Bilis.
If you have anything to invite our listeners.
Or kahit anything for our listeners po na nakikinig buong week, ngayong week na to, hindi lang ngayong hapon.
Before kanina nag-message si Ron, no? Kinakwento niya na may seminar siya or talk sa mga teachers na teaching is a vocation. That's what I do. Trying to share sa world na sana ma-realize ng bawat tao, ng bawat kabataan na may bokasyon tayo, may gagawin ka at may pinapagawa sa iyo ang Diyos na ikaw lang ang makakagawa at ikaw lang ang makakapagpabuti ng certain area, certain aspect ng buhay ng mundo na sana tanggapin natin na we are not just here to float and do things and just enjoy and be happy, pero may misyon ang bawat isa, no? Yun lang. And I'm trying to do that through online, through this show na Vok Talk. Kaya I'm just inviting you, if you are in search and be of help, may Facebook page kami at may YouTube channel. Meron ako doon ang tawag Discerntiments, no? I think I have 14 videos on making life decisions, making discernment. So, yun, concrete at technical kung ano yung mga steps, ano yung mga gagawin. So, hopefully makatulong po sa inyo. Just type Vok Talk sa FB or YouTube, and hopefully you find your mission and you do your mission, and it will become meaningful. Your life will become meaningful.
All right. So thanks,
Maraming
Father.
salamat, Father. Discernment.
And Kathy,
Yeah,
you
Kat-
want to...
Yeah.
Like yun na lang yung Facebook page ng sentro ng mga nagkakaisa at pagresibo manggagawa. It's a labor organization. And at the same time, if you haven't yet, register for 2022 elections. So, ayun na.
Okay, my kids did na. Ito si Kat is among those are
Hindi ko
responding
na natanong
to-
yun kung
Oh.
paano yung magiging life choice for 2020.
Yeah.
Siguro part 2 na
Yeah.
lang yun, ha?
Correct.
Okay.
Si Kat ito is in the process of responding to a lot of calling sa buhay niya, sa edad niya nga. Yeah. And also, of course, maraming salamat, Kat. And of course, Father Jay, sabi ko nga, para yung discernment na yan. Discernment is, we always do that in the Ignatian, no? But somehow, the Salesians have a way of expressing it in a simpler for much younger people to understand, no? So,
Lagi namang mas malakas ang tama ng high school. So,
yeah. Exactly. But not nga, when they say run, jump, make noise, just avoid sin, it's so
Yeah.
clear. It's so clear. Oh, when they say idleness is the workshop of the devil, it's so clear. So,
Correct.
These are.
ako sa San Beda ako, kaya it's a great wonder how I became...
Ako, I still
Otherwise, I would really just
I
be,
still approach Salesian priest for when I make life choices.
All right. So
and
thanks,
Kat, thank
Father.
you
I
very
hope
much,
that-
Kat. I think
Welcome.
ang dami
Thank
mong
you too.
kinakatawan, dami mong nire-represent na ako sa pag-guest sa amin. And Father, thank you po.
Yes.
Welcome.
And maybe it's a start of something big with the Jesuits.
Yes, pero
All right.
maraming
Pastor
salamat
Ron.
po. Ito pong ating topic, influencer, inspire, and other shepherding roles. Sana po meron tayong na maiuwi pagkatapos ng pakikinig sa amin para sa buhay, para maging mas mabuti at masaya. Yan lang po. Maraming salamat at susunod na Lunes. Lundagin mo, Beybeh.
Lundagin
Sa
mo,
Radyo
Beybeh.
Katipunan.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Jovi, Ron,
Alright, thank you,
Kat.
Thank
Father.
you.
Bye. God bless you all.
Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Father
Thank you,
Jay.
everyone. Thank you
All
po.
right.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Meron? Ano nga ba ang meron? Paano nga bang mabuhay ng tapat sa meron? Don't you wish you can relive your philo classes? The terror teachers? The terrible oral exams? Or the even terrifying but liberating and life-changing aha moments? Lundagin mo, Beybeh! Here's your chance! Lundagin mo, Beybeh! Kasama ang mga pilosopong sina Jovi Miroy at Ron Capinding. Lundagin mo, Beybeh! Leaping upward, leaping forward. Lundagin mo, Beybeh! Leaping to greater heights, to greater wisdom, to greater magis. Lundag na, Ateneo!
Radyo